Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is, of course, Cameron. It is the not so instant match reaction. Arsenal 4, Everton 0. It is currently just before 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. I got into my house this morning around about 4 o'clock. Got to bed about 4:15 and was up again at 7 o'clock to come to work. So that's what we do for Everton Football Club, and, more specifically, that's what we do for heavy defeats by Everton Football Club. Another really disastrous night in North London. And I remember doing an instant match reaction last season when we lost 5-0 to Tottenham and talking about getting home at 5 o'clock in the morning and, it being a 17-hour long trip or whatever it was to watch us lose emphatically and, not even stand a chance of getting anything out of the game. And, I can't really blame anybody but myself, because it's not like I was sitting here expecting anything different out of last night. I fully expected Everton to lose that game. I fully expected Everton to ultimately make some form of mistake that would lead to a goal, and therefore meaning we would lose, because once we concede, it's game over, because we simply just don't score goals. Did I have a little bit of optimism? Yes, because I do with every game, hence why I'm running on 2.5 hours sleep. I've got to go and do a full day of work, but I'll still be there on Sunday at Nottingham Forest, hoping that we can get some sort of result. But yesterday was really, really, really poor again. Look, of course we were playing the best team in the league. Of course we were away from home. Of course it was always going to be an incredibly difficult game of football to get anything out of. But the way in which we capitulated, the way in which we conceded goals, the way in which we allowed them to just completely take control of the game, I just thought was poor. And look, again, some people will say, well, it wasn't our worst performance despite the scoreline. It wasn't our worst performance. And I thought for 40 minutes, Everton were good. I thought we worked hard. I thought we battled. I thought we put ourselves about. Sean Dyche obviously made the decision to take out CONCEDE and bring in Michael Keane. We had Yerry Mina there. He had Ben Godfrey there. He didn't. He decided to bring in Michael Keane instead. And to be fair, look, Michael Keane is probably getting criticism as we speak for at least one of the 4 goals that Everton conceded yesterday. But I actually don't think Michael Keane was that big of an issue, to be perfectly honest with you. Again, I don't think he was particularly great, but I don't think he was particularly woeful. And as I said, we stayed in the game for 40 minutes. We weren't dominant in any way, shape or form. We weren't the team on top in any way, shape or form. But we managed to nullify Arsenal through very few opportunities, very few moments. And, we worked hard. We done well. And, okay, we didn't have much, going down the other end either. And that's to be expected when you've got a forward line of Alex Iwobi, Dwight McNeil and Neil Maupay once again. The 3 of them are just completely ineffective at either creating chances or taking a chance when it is created. And listen, I don't particularly blame Sean Dyche, because, I'm seeing a lot of people on social media today or last night, on the way home, talking about Damari Gray and why isn't Damari Gray playing. And don't get me wrong, listen, Damari Gray's our top goal scorer this season, and he probably should be in this Everton starting 11, but let's not act like Damari Gray's somebody that's going to come in and guarantee us, goals every single week or guarantee us performances every single week. He's not that. He ultimately has come on in the last 2 games and been completely ineffective. But yeah, as I said, we stayed in the game for 40 odd minutes. We worked hard. We put ourselves about, and then sorry, I cut off there. We stayed in the game for 40 minutes. We worked hard. We put ourselves about, and then in typical Everton fashion, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and we're our own worst enemy. A couple of silly mistakes, and all of a sudden we're 2-0 down at half time, and it's completely game over at that point. The first goal is absolutely woeful defending by Vitaly Mykolenko. How that lad is still starting games of football for Everton in the form that he's in is beyond me. Ruben Vinagre must be absolutely useless, and even if that is the case, why isn't somebody like a Ben Godfrey being put in there for at least a little bit of pace and a little bit of defensive cover? Vitaly Mykolenko at the moment is horrendous. He gives one of the most informed forwards in the league all of the time and all of the space in the world to turn, and once, Saka turns and gets that shot away, there's only ever one outcome. You could have put 14 goalkeepers in goal in, and I don't think any one of them are saving it. And that is Everton's problem, isn't it? We go 1-0 down, and, even though we've stayed in the game, even though we've battled, even though we've worked hard, even though we've put ourselves about, we go 1-0 down, and that is pretty much game over from that point, because you just know that, how likely is it that Everton scored an equaliser? Well, we addressed this a couple of days ago. The only way Everton are scoring at the moment is A set piece. So as long as, the opposition team manage to keep themselves fairly solid, at defending set pieces, they'll be okay. Or B, a worldie. And we haven't got anybody in this team or at this club with the ability to produce a worldie consistently. Yes, Damari Gray will produce one once every 4 months, or Seamus Coleman might produce one once every 5 years, but we haven't got anybody that you look at and you go, okay, he could come on, and if he gets a sniff at goal, he'll take it. I was watching last night, and that's the biggest thing I took from last night is, I see a lot of people say we're toothless at the back. Sorry, I don't know why my camera keeps cutting off. It's probably because my phone's thinking, lad, give me a rest. I've not stopped. But yeah, it's not even like you're looking and you're thinking, I see a lot of people say, oh, we're toothless, we haven't got anything with this, that, and the other. That's absolutely true, and I 100% agree with those facts. But it's not even just that. There's nobody that you look at and think, he could have a chance. If we get a sniff at goal, he could put it away. He could be the one that makes the difference. None of them. Absolutely none of them. I look at all of them and I just think, you could play till Wednesday. They still could be playing now. I still could be in the Emirates now watching, and we wouldn't have mustered an half-decent chance, never mind scored a goal. And that's the big worry. And then you add that, and the fact that we know we're so toothless in front of goal, and the fact that we know we're so poor, and the fact that we know that our forwards aren't good enough, you add that to the fact that we're constantly making defensive mistakes. Vitaly Mykolenko has made another defensive mistake. Idrissa Gana Gueye, I don't care what anybody says, he needs taken out of that team. How many goals is that now that Everton have conceded that have been directly his fault? His mistakes that have directly led to goal. He needs taken out of this team. He needs, whether it be a rest or whether it be dropping, I'm not particularly asked. He needs taken out of this team. He's not good enough at the moment. I know some people love him and some people try and cloud it. It's as light as day. It's another mistake that he's made that has led to a goal. It's awful. And then when it's 2-0, you know 100% Everton aren't scoring 2 goals. We might nick one from a corner, but 2 goals, come on, let's not be stupid now. So you knew at that point it was game over. We come into the second half, again, huffed and puffed, heads were down. You could tell the players knew the game was over. You could tell the players weren't particularly interested in getting anything out of it. They get their third. Yeah, Michael Keane, maybe a fault. James Tarkowski, again. And then the fourth one is just another sort of stab in the gut, isn't it, at that point? But no, another horrendous night on North London, another horrendous result. And as I said, more worryingly for me is that, A, you cannot expect to stay in the Premier League when you haven't got anybody in a forward line, whether it be a striker or a winger or a centre-back midfielder, anybody that is capable of creating a decent chance and scoring a goal. But then you add that onto the fact that you've got a defensive unit that is constantly making individual errors and mistakes that are leading to goals. And it's just an absolute disaster. An absolute disaster. I was speaking to Matty last night on the way home from the game, and he said the record for a team that has stayed up in terms of goals scored is 25. I think the record is that a team, the least amount of goals a team has scored and stayed up is 25. I think Everton needs to score something like 10 goals or 13 goals in 15 games or something like that to be able to get to 25. Something along those lines. Again, I've had 2 hours sleep. I'm fucking shattered. I apologise if that's wrong. But yeah, I just don't see Everton scoring that amount of goals because A, we've got nobody to do it, and B, even if we can get a goal in a game, what's stopping Idrissa Gana Gueye making another howler, or Vitaly Mykolenko leaving his man, or Connor Cody being turned, or whatever it may be. So yeah, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I will keep reiterating this point. The buck stops with the owners. The fact that these people allowed Everton Football Club to go the entirety of the January transfer window without signing a single player, let alone a single forward, is criminal, and they should all be in prison. Never mind not visiting Goodison Park. They should all be in prison for what they've done to this football club. It is fucking disastrous. And they once again, they've effectively understood we were in the same position as we were last season, and they've gone, hang on, let's make this 10 times more difficult. It's almost as if they want to see us fail. It's almost as if it's a challenge for them. They're an absolute fucking disgrace, a lot of them, an absolute disgrace. Some people are talking about the Ghana goal, whether or not it was offside. I'm not asked. I'm more focused on why Idrissa Gana Gueye's dilly-dallying about for fucking 15 minutes with the ball at his feet. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. But yeah, as I said, same as every week, the buck stops with the absolute criminals and clowns at the top of this football club that have allowed this to happen. And I am worried that this is just going to be too big of a task for Sean Dyche to or any manager for that case, not just the Sean Dyche thing, any manager to see through. But we'll wait and see. Forest on Sunday, we go again. I will have the player ratings up on my dinner. So, hectic day. This has gone up before work. Player ratings will be up on my dinner, and the review will be up after work. So, yeah, there you go. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we'll see you later.